Good morning, Bison Nation, and welcome to our first episode of Extra Innings, Keeping Up with the Herd Outside the Park. In honor of our first show, I'm here with Ronnie Dawson, a Ohio State alumni outfielder, a 2016 second-round pick by the Houston Astros, 2016 Big Ten championship win against Michigan State, and currently was playing in 2019 before COVID-19 with the Corpus Christi Hooks and Round Rock Express. Welcome, Ronnie. It's nice to have you here today.
I appreciate being here. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. I gotta ask. So, what's it like playing for a AAA team? Like, what is the experience? How did you get connections? I mean, what's it like?
So, I mean, you get drafted and you work your way up through. It's different. When I explain it to people that not familiar with baseball, it's kind of like, your varsity JV. You kind of work your way up. So I was in the low at minor leagues then the last 3 years, and that 2019 season, which was not a good season for me, I did end up getting called up to AAA, and for a little bit at the end of the season, and I got to play in the playoffs, and it was exciting. We played really good baseball, and it's crazy because I was a bat boy in AAA for the Columbus Clippers. So when you made it there, it was like, oh dang, I was bat boy.
Reverse, right?
A big reverse, and like one day, man, I can hit these guys. And now I'm here actually facing AAA pitching. So I mean, it's just exciting for me, and just kind of like I'm one step closer to the dream.
And then you mentioned being a bat boy for the Columbus Clippers. I mean, you met Lonnie Chisenhall, Danny Salazar, Corey Kluber, Francisco. Like, what is that like to meet them and knowing where they're at now?
I mean, back then it was just like. They were just normal guys. They were cool, but they weren't the
players they are now.
The players they are now, but they were like the prospects and stuff like that. So, seeing them and now being in their shoes and seeing the stuff that they did and kind of shaping my career and how I handle my business off of things I saw was, it's just I couldn't. I'm just very fortunate and blessed to have that opportunity. George Robinson was a guy that gave me the opportunity. So, man, me being able to witness that and have a chance to play minor league baseball and kind of have a picture of what it looks like beforehand was very helpful for me, I think.
Yeah, and then too, like you, in my opinion, and a lot of people's, you're living every young kid's dream. I mean, you went and played D1 college baseball, you got drafted, and now you're on your way to getting to the show. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, that was my dream growing up. How does that feel getting to do that?
It's surreal, man. Honestly, it's like, because you never want to, for me, honestly, I kind of started taking in the moment. I used to be a guy that work hard. It's the future. So, let's go. Like, worry about getting there. And then this, COVID happened and kind of took a step back and was like, let me enjoy where I'm at right now. Let me enjoy, like, the things that I accomplished, the things that are in my life, and then worry about the other stuff later. And that's where I kind of switched, kind of like, man, I'm really blessed to be where I'm at. I've done a lot of great things, and that's right now, like, it's exciting. And that I keep getting to do it day in, day out. It's exciting to me.
No, I can only imagine how exciting it is, and especially to see, I obviously went on minorleaguebaseball.com, looked just at stuff before the interview today, but like just to see, you're making the movement up, your stats and all your statistics are getting better, you're growing as a baseball player, and it's nice to see because not a lot of former Ohio State Buckeyes get to make the jump you did. We all know about Nick Swisher, Cleveland Indian, New York Yankee, you have the potential, which is amazing to see, to make that next step, and the Houston Astros, and baseball in general, things happen every day. People move up, people move down. So tomorrow morning, you might be a Houston Astro. That's just incredible to know that all your hard work and determination, back from being a Licking Heights outfielder, is now about to pay off, hopefully, for you.
Yeah, no, man. It's just all the things. Even when I was a little kid, it's not even like, man, I was 10 years old in the backyard. All the stuff I was doing, playing around in the backyard, is like, was what shaped me to the player I am today. Just playing around, throwing the ball into the fence. Just outside playing tag, working on agility, stuff like that is where I'm like, man, that's the stuff that helped me, shape me to the player and the athlete I am. And now all that hard work, all the sacrifices I had to make, not going to parties, not, you know, certain things that it's like, man, back then in high school, it was like, oh, you know, I'm not the coolest kid, but you know, I knew where I wanted to be at the end of the day.
You knew that. You knew the decisions you made in high school would affect you right now in today's day.
I like to think of it and like to say, I want to make decisions now that 5 years later I thank myself for.
Yeah.
You know, not a year, 5 years down. It's like, oh man, if I would have did that, what could have happened? You know, no, I want to make decisions now that I'm like, I'm glad I did that. And, so that's something that stuck with me since I was back in high school. You know, but it's just you know, it's all coming. It's all coming.
Yeah,
around.
no, I completely understand.
Different time. You know, some people it happened faster. And now it's like, okay, now for me it's like my window for the big leagues is really right there, and it's very exciting.
You're one step away, and that would be so awesome too, because then you're on a whole new platform. Yeah. I mean, you're on Fox Sports, you're on MLB Network. People get to see you. People are getting to know your story and know that, you know, I made this decision, and maybe that could, you know, strike a chord with other kids. Yeah. You know, if I just stay on the right path, stay on the right course, train, do everything right, that this could be me one day, because that's what everybody wants to do. And I think you're an amazing example of doing the right thing, staying on course, realizing that, hey, this decision might not affect me tomorrow, but in 5 years, I might not get a certain job because I made this decision. Yep. And then especially too, with being a summer collegiate team at the Ohio Bison, you know, college kids come home and play baseball here and then go back to school. Your sophomore year, you went to the Cape Cod League because you wanted to get better. How did that summer league help shape you into the player you were your junior and senior year?
Oh man, so senior year I didn't play because I left after my junior year, but rookie of the year last year, Kyle Lewis, that was my best friend on the Cape Cod team. We're still close now, and back then I knew that was the best hitter I've ever seen. Like, but man, it was stuff back then. I remember hitting with him. We're after a game, we're struggling. We're like, we got hit, and we'll go. Game over. We're like, hey, can you leave the lights on? And we'll be the last ones after the game hitting on the field, flipping to each other like, hey, because one day we knew where we could be, and the fact that he won Rookie of the Year, that's just I think just a stepping stone for the first accomplishment for him. But I mean, the Cape Cod, man, that's why I think it shaped me to see, like, okay, I'm playing against the highest levels. Where am I at? Where do I compete? Because like every level I went to, I kind of had that insecurity. Am I good enough? You know, I know, like, when I step on the field, I'm like, I'm the baddest man on the field. But like right before, you know, it's time in between that. It's like, man, am I good enough? And then every time I play, it's like, oh, I am good enough. I am good enough. I am good enough. But then I kind of changed to now, you know, am I good enough? No, I am good enough. Yes. And changing that, having that mindset is like where I see my biggest change from the Cape then to now. It's like, okay, every level I went to, I know I can compete. It's just the mindset I have going into it. And
that's one of those things too, where after your sophomore year, you could have said, all right, winter, take a break. I'm gonna relax. No summer ball. I need time to think. But you know, you went back to work. Yeah. And that's a big thing too that we stress in our program, whether it's youth or summer, that, you know, yes, you need to rest, you need to recover, but at the same time, the summer is the best opportunity for you to get better, for your school, for minor leagues, to get into the show. And I think you're another great example of, you know, put the work in, look where it takes you. And the Cape Cod League is a great league. I mean, it's really good for player development. You know, we're right underneath there from where we're at as a program, that it could bump you up. It can get you to the next stage. And Kyle Lewis was a part of the Great Lakes, you know. So look, a Great Lakes player who, you know, probably people are like, oh, yeah, he'll play single A, that'll be it. But look at him now, you know. So it's just nice to see. And this next question is a fun one in my opinion, and my co-host who isn't here today, Emma, thought about it too. What's a daily routine for you look like? Like, you know, if it's game day, are you waking up? Are you getting running in the morning? You going to eat a certain food? Or like, what's it look like with game day?
For me, I'm really big into my routine. So that's one thing I've taken ownership in once I got to play at the minor leagues and professional level, because you need a routine. I think everyone's routine is different. Everyone's different. Some people tick a different way. Some people get ready a different way. Everyone's different. So I had to figure out my routine, and it took me about 3 years. And so for me, when I wake up, let's say Games at 6:15. Probably wake up around 10, 11. Because you don't get back until midnight probably.
Yeah.
So 10, 11. Go to the field, show up probably around 1. Probably 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock game. So it's probably around 12 if we're home. Stretch, foam roll, get your pre-routine in, maybe go hit in the cage. Then we got either a lift or something, some type of like getting ready for the day. Then we got practice. So you got BP or whatever,
Take grounders,
something, whatever. Yeah. Then you got batting practice either in the cage or outside on the field. Then you go rest or take a break for another probably like an hour and a half. Then for me, I go get ready again because I gotta get ready before the game. I'm just sitting down, so I go hit or something, go some type of workout, like a quick one, just core activation. Then it's time for the game. Then it's the same thing over and over, just different times. So then I had to figure out, okay, if it's a 2 o'clock game, what's my routine?
Yeah.
Okay, if we're playing a 7 o'clock game, what's my routine? If we're away, what's my routine? So like that's what I had to kind of figure out. I have everyone has their own routine, but now I have to figure out, okay, if we're away, okay, if I'm not feeling that good, what's my routine?
Yeah.
It's all in the same, but I do a couple different things to make sure I'm ready to play, because I get to the pressure. You gotta perform. You're performers, so you gotta do whatever it takes to be ready. I might not be 100%, but I'm gonna be 100% of my whatever that is that day. So if I'm 80%, I'm gonna be 100% of 80%. So that's the biggest thing for me. Just kind of being consistent with it's so much I do. It's hard to get into, but it's just being consistent every day, and I think that's the game of baseball, consistency.
And I think too, people don't understand the amount of pre-work it goes into a game day. I mean, you don't just do stretches for 10 minutes. You don't just go,
that's what I thought.
Eat a sandwich before the game. Like, no, because if you don't do something right, you're out. You could tear something, rip something. I mean, it takes a lot to get ready for a game.
No, yeah, it does, and it's. Cause it's just practice. Cause at the end, especially in the minor leagues, I don't know how the big leagues is. Probably a little bit more laid back, but the minor leagues is trying to get you just get more repetition, and that's why even when you're younger, the more reps you can get. Cause everyone has stats, but the only stats that kind of really matter, that in my opinion, is in the big leagues. So the minor league stats, it
gets you there, but that's not the whole story.
Right. No one's gonna look like, okay, Ronnie Dawson minor league stats, if I'm gonna have a good career in big leagues. So that's kind of how I looked at it, but it's just repetition to get me to where I want to be one day.
When it comes down to, yes, you put in the work, every day you did the right thing, made the right decision, but who was the motivation? Because there's tough days. Who was the person, who was the group that just was right there in your corner that just said, Ronnie, just keep going, you got this?
I got a whole bunch of people, man. I always heard my parents say this. It takes a village to raise, a child. And now I go back, especially now, I'm not a parent, but I'm a dog parent. And man, that's my girl Kiki. So me and my fiance, we gotta kind of, be parents to the dog. So I kind of see all the stuff that my parents did. It's not the same, but I try to put myself in their shoes, all the sacrifices they made for me, taking me places, taking me to sporting events. I'm like, man, I did not, I was appreciative for my parents, but man, they have a life too, and that's why I say that. So my mom and dad, man, they were the biggest inspirations. They keep me grounded. And they also lift me up. So, they've been my backbone since day one. So. Yeah, definitely my parents.
I think that's one thing too, especially with our youth teams, is that they might not understand, but your parents are showing you to tournaments, getting you to practice.
Exactly, man.
At the time, you might be like, thanks, mom and dad, but in your shoes, when you get older, you might realize, man, mom and dad really did so much for me, and that's one thing that I hope everybody, all our youth realizes, that, mom and dad, huge factor.
Yes.
And then two, with our youth teams, is there one thing, one practice, one drill, one motivational saying that you can give our youth teams? Because they're going to see this, and they're going to feed off of of your experience that they could just take and just run with it.
Man, gosh, I don't have just one thing. It's so hard. I'm trying to think of it.
I mean, if it's 2, it's 2. If it's 3, it's just. I mean, anything that
I just kind of have a little. Biggest thing I think is just having the mindset of getting better every day. You know, good and bad days. You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs, but each day you gotta try to be better, and have an end goal in mind. Because for me, I wasn't the best kid growing up. I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't the tallest. I was always a good athlete. I was always one of the top athletes, but I was never like the Bryce Harpers or the crazy guys. But what kept me going was I wanted to be the best. I wanted to outwork everyone, because if you work hard, you have the benefit to know at the end of the day you did everything you can. Okay, don't have no regrets. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I don't think I have any regrets of not working hard enough or not taking the sacrifice to do the extra work. Not going somewhere because of I didn't want. I have to practice, or going to a dance because I got
a hitting practice.
Something. It's just certain things. But also you also have to have a balance where you do get away from baseball. But I think for a lot of kids that's easy. They don't really think about it. Yeah. But for me, I kind of just having that balance, putting in that work, then kind of like you said, recover and take care of your body. But I don't think kids have a problem with doing that. But
especially with where you're at, it's if you do baseball 24/7, 7 days a week, your body's gonna be like, I can't do this anymore.
Right. But as a young kid, man, just doing the extra things, whatever it is, you're hitting, you get a big group, do 5 push-ups, okay, do some sit-ups, you're playing the video game, okay, you playing Call of Duty, you die, okay, 5 push-ups, whatever it is, just try to get better, and because at the end of the day, I mean, it's your career, you got to take ownership of your career. Fortunate enough, I had a lot of people that helped me, but at the end of the day, I know what I wanted to do, so you got to take ownership of your. That's a good one. That's a good one quote.
Yeah, there we go.
Ownership of your career. All right.
Yeah, maybe that'll be our next sign up here at the factory. We'll put up ownership. Yep. Well, Bison Nation, we hope you enjoyed our first episode of Extra Innings, keeping up with the herd outside of the park. Ronnie, we hope you have an amazing season. We hope that you stay healthy and that you get to accomplish everything in your wildest dreams.
Yep,
and then please stay tuned for our next episode. And before Ronnie goes, me being an Ohio State student, I have to. OH.
I-O.